Welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast. My name is Scott. I'll be your co-host today. I have a co-host here with me today. My beautiful, lovely wife, Stefany. Welcome to the show, Stefany.
Hi, everyone.
I'm going to introduce you right away because I feel like you just need to be here.
Okay.
You just need to be here. Today's episode is brought to you by Greasy Girl Headbands. You like this? We're doing this new. We're doing the episode sponsor.
Yeah, I like this.
It's a nice little change. Greasy Girl Headbands. You can find them at greasygirlheadbands.com. Greeecie, as in the country, not as in
Greasy hair.
Greasy hair. Yeah. You don't have to attribute it right to hair when we're talking about a headband company. It's kind of neat. It's unique. I like the name.
I like the name.
I like the name. And you know, you're due because it's almost Christmas. Mm-hmm. Greasy Girl Headbands been the stocking the last 2 years.
Yes.
So maybe you'll be on a streak.
Yeah.
You may be on a streak there. So check them out over at greasygirlheadbands.com. They've been a really big supporter of ours, and we love to pay it back. So yeah, it's a really good stocking stuffer too, and they're made for runners. Those headbands. Of course, I don't use them.
Me and Samantha do that.
I would love to use them. I just don't have any hair.
Oh, do they make baby ones?
They might. We're gonna
Ellie.
have to see. We'll circle up with the head greasy girl herself, and we'll see if they make baby. If they don't, they should. That's a whole market for her.
Yeah.
So we did a raffle.
Mm-hmm. For the newsletter.
Yep, we did a raffle. Anyone who signed up for the newsletter was eligible to win the raffle, which was a Garmin watch, a nice Garmin watch, and we did a little video on our Facebook channel. It's still up there. In our discussion group, and Eileen Crosby, we just want to say congratulations. Now we didn't know Eileen really, and you know, here's the thing, is like I never know, cause the group is getting pretty big.
Yeah.
And it's like 675 people in the discussion group. We have a lot of people that follow us on Twitter. And look, I'm getting old, so it's one of those things where if you join the group and you're not really active, like I don't know, I can't, I sound obnoxious, don't I?
No.
But, so I don't know, you know, Eileen wasn't really that involved, but she wrote us such a nice note, you know, just saying that she was thinking about training for a marathon in the spring and that, she's been listening to the podcast for a while and that this was a sign for her.
Yeah.
That she's, and I love that. I love that somehow, you know, cause you know, we did advertise the raffle. So you never know who you're going to get. It could be just someone who wants to win something free and they join the newsletter and then once they don't win, they just bail.
Yeah.
But if they won, maybe they don't even need it. They just throw it on eBay, you know, it's like kind of.
Resell it. Uh-huh.
So you kind of hope that the raffle finds someone proper who really needs it. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like it did.
Yeah.
It sounds like it did.
I'm very happy. Now she has a nice new watch.
She does. It's great. And you know, I think we're going to, you know, I wasn't going to attribute it to her, but I think I've already just did by accident. No, I shouldn't. All right. So we won't. Eileen, I was going to read your email because it was so touching and nice. And it was, but I'm, you know, it's your private information.
It's her story to tell.
So I don't want to tell it, but in essence, you know, she sent us just a really sweet email saying that she'd listened to the podcast and that it helped her over the last year and a half. And it's like one of those things where you don't even realize that people are listening sometimes. And, you know, it makes you, I don't know, it's like one of those things that just hits you like maybe you're doing some good.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that. So anyway, back to the beginning. Let's do our little intro here and we'll get back into the conversation. As always, you can find this in the back episodes of our podcast at our website, ordinarymarathoner.com. Check it out if you get a chance. You can also find us at the aggregators, places like Stitcher, TuneIn, iTunes. I think we're getting on Spotify. I'm working on that as we speak. And, you know, if you like the show, hit that subscribe button and never miss a new episode that way. Also downloading to our YouTube channel now. Stefany, we're going to be talking about your video series coming up.
Yeah, I can't wait.
We're going to talk about that. So I think we're going to leave that for the end of the podcast. But yeah, we got a lot of work to do together.
I know.
We're a little behind.
It's good that we're on family leave from work.
I know. Right. We're actually taping the show right now. Grandma's here watching the baby. It's 9:15 in the morning and you know, it's a Thursday. Mm-hmm. We should be at work, but we're home.
Yep.
So it's kind of a unique situation. Maybe we'll be able to pump out some more of these podcasts.
Maybe.
We'll see. So our discussion group over at Facebook, check us out over there. Like I said, 675 people, a lot of people involved lately. It feels really like popular lately. Like all of a sudden, like a lot of people have been writing. Really a great supportive group over there. Ordinary Marathoners, the discussion group. We also have an Ordinary Marathoner page, so don't get confused. But it's the discussion group that you probably want to join. The Ordinary Marathoner page gives you sort of news and what we're up to. And I gotta be honest, I haven't really been too active over there, but we got a lot of followers over there as well. And, you can find me at Twitter at Ord Marathoner, O-R-D Marathoner. Follow me there. I'll follow you back. Get the conversation going on over there as well. Also, we are up to our knees in ordinary marathon work. Mm-hmm. We are looking at our virtual race for next year. We did it last year. I got to tell you, every once in a while, I watch the video that we put together, the slideshow, and I can't wait for this year.
I know.
And we have a lot of new plans. We actually had a meeting yesterday, a lunch meeting, which we've never been able to do a lunch meeting.
I know. Oh,
thank God for Grandma.
Grandma watches. Went over my head that it was our first lunch meeting.
That was our first lunch meeting in 3 years. So we had a lunch meeting with Tim Murphy, who actually might be a guest on the podcast. We're trying to get him here, but he works he owns or runs. I guess it's a franchise.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I think the proper term is own. He owns Fleet Feet Longmeadow, which is our local running store. And we talked to him about adding a potential live 5K option for the Ordinary Marathon, which of course would be mostly locals.
But anybody's welcome to come if they want to come out.
Yeah, anyone wants to travel. You could
stay at the new casino.
MGM Springfield just opened up, and it's a beautiful venue.
Come meet us out here, and
sure, we got some air matches in the basement too. If you want to stay
with the spiders.
Right. Grandma's here. She can handle the spiders with her witchcraft. She didn't do a good job last time.
I know.
But, yeah, we'd love to see you out here. And I think we're targeting April 26th through May 5th for the virtual race. We'll probably do April 26th for the 5K. It's really exciting.
Yeah.
And Tim has got a lot of good energy and a lot of, I don't know. He's
motivated.
Yeah.
And
he handles everything, like I was worried about potentially having to shut down roads if you had to cross roads. And he's like, oh, we do this all the time. We know the police department. We'll set it all up. We'll put signs out for to make sure that everyone knows the race route and all that stuff. And man, it sounded really cool. So I think we're going to get on that and also bring a local flavor, I guess.
Yeah.
Ordinary Marathoner has been sort of a broad, I hate to say global because it sounds like we have millions and billions of fans, but we have hundreds of fans.
Yeah.
Perhaps, maybe thousands of fans. I don't know. But, you guys it's all displaced across the country and the virtual race is great because it does bring us together in that way. But, we have very little local presence here and we're trying to kind of add to that. And we feel like, if we can get some local runners involved, and get them, over at the discussion group that we could grow the group that way positively too.
Yeah.
So it's just something that we're looking into and we're really, and also if you're interested in being a sponsor for the Ordinary Marathon, definitely reach out to us, on all, Facebook, Twitter, email, whatever you want to do. And we'd be interested to, to talk to you and see if you want to, we just got our shirt design yesterday.
Thank God they're not orange.
Blue is the new orange.
Yeah. Thank God.
Yeah. Ray Magana said that orange was never the new orange.
No, I agree with him. I don't even know why you picked that color.
I think they were good shirts. Topic of conversation still.
I wore it
We're
once.
Still talking
never
about
will wear
them.
it again.
I wear it every week.
I know.
It's like the comfiest shirt.
Yeah.
It's the comfiest shirt. I wish I would have bought more of them.
No.
All right, so we got a story to tell here.
Oh, geez.
Since the last time, and I don't know, maybe we can try to spin this a little towards fitness.
Oh yeah, I can definitely tell you I could do an Ironman now after what I went through.
So we, ordinary baby, Ellie Dee Riecke, 8 pounds, 5 ounces.
Yeah.
Born November 22nd on
Thanksgiving
morning at
9:49 a.m.
That was your max pain threshold?
Yes.
Yeah. But what an ordeal.
Uh-huh.
So we're going to talk about this, and I do want to warn you, we're going to talk about this kind of from soup to nuts. Well, they're not going to give you too many gory details, but, it's probably a little bit of a deviation from our normal podcast, and,
worst marathon ever.
But there are certainly ways that you can sort of equate it to a marathon. I mean, No?
I'd rather do New York City Marathon over again 50 times with no training than do that again.
So now is not the time to talk about having a second child?
No. Mm-mm.
No? Mm-mm. All right, give it a few months.
No.
All right, so we're gonna kind of. I think what we want to do here is we wanted to tell the story of sort of the ordinary baby's birth, ordinary baby's birth, and I don't know, I don't know how this could be a 10-minute story, it could be an hour story. We'll see how much detail we get into, but it was kind of a long ordeal, and I don't know, when do we start?
It was very long. It was very long. Way too long. I mean, between the morning sickness, the acid reflux, the hip pains, the back pains, and not to mention I was going for massages every week. I mean, who can afford that? I couldn't even afford it, but yet I did it.
Yeah.
Every week.
Yeah, we're going to talk about your credit card too later on.
That's where everything, that's where everything went.
Yeah,
Cha-ching.
Exactly. And I don't think that the insurance is going to accept.
I know. I tried. I actually called the insurance company and asked if they cover prenatal massages.
And after they stopped laughing, they said no. So let's, and beyond that, I mean, I think you looked great throughout the pregnancy. You didn't gain too much, sort of like that. You look good. You look thin with a belly.
I gained almost 40 pounds.
Right.
It's a lot of weight.
But we went through that whole thing. So we went to a birthing class.
Yeah.
One of the greatest days of my life. Not a waste of time at all. But they showed you how much weight you naturally sort of put on with all the, not just the baby itself, but, all the additional things that you have to deal with. Right.
Yeah. The dense tissue and all
that good stuff. And, they actually put weight in a backpack and made a guy put the backpack.
I know. I actually wanted to volunteer Scott to do it, but he sort of told me, no, I'm not getting up there. It would have been great.
So, I think you didn't take too much advantage of the situation and get really huge or anything. You had a little belly.
I can't even believe she came out of that little belly.
I know.
To be honest.
And, even your mom said that from behind, you didn't, was it your mom? Or your mom?
Wasn't my mom.
Your mom wouldn't say it wouldn't compliment you like that.
My mom said I was
you ate too many bagels.
Yeah.
But, a friend of ours said, that she, looked that if you saw her from behind, you wouldn't even have known she was pregnant. And I agree with that. I think that's true. So I think you handled it well, even though you weren't really able to exercise. Now, you had horrible morning sickness.
Yeah, 3 months worth of morning sickness. Like, I work from home and couldn't even work. That's...
Yeah, and you had some, you had nausea during that part, and then you had, even later on, I felt like, you couldn't really get into an exercise rhythm. And once the baby was so big, and we did have our friend Heather Samuelson came and trained you.
Yeah, until
almost weekly.
Fell on Halloween.
Oh, right. You broke your finger.
Yeah, it's still not the same. So.
Yeah, it looks crooked.
Yeah, poor finger.
Yeah. Well, you couldn't get it fixed because of the baby.
Yeah,
they wanted to give you
an X-ray.
They want to give you an X-ray, and they couldn't do it. And so basically, I guess what we're getting at, long story short, was that you weren't really able to do any kind of or a lot of training. I guess it's not like you're one of the Kardashian twins where you just gain 5 pounds, have a baby, and then you're ripped 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
So it's a journey for you.
Yeah.
So, and we're excited because we're going to use that. We're going to use your out of shapeness to get you back in shape and do a video series. We're looking forward to that. So with that being said, 9 months go by. So she was due November 18th, which was Monday?
No, it was Sunday.
Sunday. So Saturday night we're home. And here's where we start telling the actual story part. Saturday night we're home and we're watching, I think we were just watching TV and you just all of a sudden got a pain, but it was like your upper.
Yeah. It was like behind my rib cage.
Right. And it was bad.
Oh, it was really bad. And
I feel like I can tell when your pain is like when it's time to go to the hospital. You had the kidney stones early last year and we went to the hospital a couple times. I've seen you do a marathon. I've been with you during a marathon when you didn't train. And that wasn't exactly painless.
No.
So I've seen you in some high pain situations. So I feel like I kind of know when your pain is real and not. And I feel like, so after like 10, 15 minutes, and it wasn't contraction pain, and you knew that.
Yeah, it was a weird abdominal pain. I can't even explain it.
So we wound up popping in the car, and, at 9 months pregnant, you just go to the maternity emergency place. So the way this is set up is that they have, the maternity ward upstairs and two, like maybe a floor or two. They have delivery section. They have, the new baby section. And, and then downstairs is like the bullpen.
I hate that place.
Yeah. So, and the difference between the two is staggering. It's like the upstairs is like lavish, luxurious, help you anything you want. Downstairs is where their job is to kick you out if they can and do so with a smile.
Yeah.
So we got there and they tested you out and they, by then the pain had subsided a little bit. And I guess their conclusion was that you have a giant baby in your stomach and she's kicking.
Yeah, they felt her feet all the way up there by the.
Yeah, her feet were like up near your heart.
Yeah. So basically, diagnosis was your baby kicked you in the organs.
Yeah.
And caused all that pain.
And it went away.
Yeah.
And but then again, the next day was your due date, which came and went, eventless, nothing.
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened. We were kind of hoping, but you know what? It's not irregular for a first-time mom to deliver after their due date, a week or two typically. And the doctors had told us that if she was like a week or more overdue, that they were going to start inducing. And luckily, we never really got to that point. Not that it's a big deal if we had. So Monday.
Yeah. So Monday, my mom went back to New York. My aunt was here. I decided
from
to
Ecuador.
go. Yeah, she came all the way to Ecuador to help with the baby. So I was hoping that the baby was born before she left. And she loves to shop, so I took her out shopping. So I walked so much that day.
Monday. Yeah.
Monday. And then I came home, Scott came home, and we're sitting in the living room and
just finished dinner.
And I started getting contractions. Not painful, luckily.
Yeah,
a little bit of pain, but tolerable. And then I start timing them with my little app that I downloaded.
How great is that app?
I loved my app. Yeah.
So I had a little app that was timing
my contractions. Yeah.
And it did everything. So it timed, you hit start when the contraction comes, you hit stop when it ends. And so, we went to the birthing class, we know the rules. And the rules were, you wait to the contraction is 5-1-1 is the rule of thumb. And it's 5 minutes apart. 5 minutes apart, 1 minute long in duration.
For 1 hour.
For 1 hour. And that's when you go to the hospital. So if your contractions, the first two, I want to say were like an hour apart.
Yeah.
They were pretty far apart. Maybe the first three.
Yeah.
And then
all of a sudden, we went to the hospital around 10 and I started getting contractions around 6:30.
Yeah. So but the time collapsed pretty quickly. It went from an hour apart to like 16 minutes to 8 minutes. And all of a sudden we're thinking, oh God. Now we're also a 20-minute drive from the hospital. So when it got to like, and look, you're first time mom. We're obviously a little nervous in the situation. Yeah. So I think so it was between like 6 and 8 minutes.
6, yeah.
But at that point we weren't gonna, just let it go. We decided to pack up and get in the car and go to the hospital, which I think was smart.
Yeah.
But we got there and we met Nurse Ratchet. Is that her name? I forget.
Her name was Becky.
Becky. Oh, okay. So we met Becky, Nurse Becky. She was actually nice.
Well, she was nice.
She was doing her job.
She was not nice the first day.
Yeah, she was a little. Yeah, it was like, why are you here? And so basically, they check you to see how much you're dilated, and you weren't really dilated that much, like less than a centimeter or something. I think at that point.
Something like that, yeah.
And they put her on the monitors, and her contractions were 6-7 minutes apart, and they monitored you for a while, and they came in and out, and somewhere around midnight, they said we're sending you home. They gave you some medicine so that you could sleep. I remember we got home about 2:00. Well, we walked around the hospital too.
Yeah.
But you weren't doubling over in pain or anything. The contractions, and the contractions were, I think, in terms of pain, very light compared to what we were.
Yet to see.
This is still Monday night, mind you. This story's going slow. So we got home Monday night, and I want to say it was like 2 a.m.
Yeah, and I decided to sleep on the couch because I was getting contractions every like 8 minutes. So I took the medicine, and the contractions went farther apart. But
you were you were kind of falling asleep and waking up almost every contraction. Now, I was up here and I set the alarm for every hour so I could go check on you. And I did check on you the first time, but then the second and third time I just went back to sleep.
That's okay.
I was listening to see if you were screaming or moaning, and you weren't. And then,
no, not yet.
So, but we were, very staggered 3 hours of sleep that night, and woke up the next day, and again, first time mom, and let's just say that there was some moisture.
I thought my water broke. Let's just say it the nice way. I thought my water
moisture
broke.
isn't a good word.
No.
It's
actually a very.
It's an ugly word.
Yeah.
Moist. Some people cringe when you say that word.
Yeah.
Moist.
Anyway. Such a jerk.
I know people are leaving the podcast.
Yeah.
So
they probably left already. Who wants to hear a birth story?
So we had an appointment with the ultrasound
on Tuesday morning.
Oh, incidentally, the one thing about Monday night was when you were like, "Oh, I think I had a contraction," and you remember my response?
I don't remember.
It was, "Oh, I gotta get on the bike." I had to get my bike in.
Oh yeah.
So I jumped on the bike and I got my work. I did get my workout. That was my response to my wife beginning her pregnancy.
Every day you went on the bike.
Almost. I missed 3 days.
Yeah, but every day I was sent home.
Yeah.
We went on the bike.
So Tuesday, you get up, and we thought the water broke, and we had an appointment with the ultrasound and the doctor, and we called the hospital and told them we thought her water broke, and they were like, "You got to come in." And so my sister works in a NICU, and she said, "Look, if her water did break, they're going to want to take the baby within 24 hours, or else
they won't send you home, basically.
Right, they're not going to send you home because there's risk of infection." So we get there, they do a test.
My water didn't break.
Your water didn't break. The contractions aren't far enough apart to keep you there, but they are starting to get a little more painful.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
home again.
Yeah. They send us home again. Now we get home and you're relaxing. I'm riding the bike. Mm-hmm. So this is Tuesday afternoon, and the pain is getting more
and more. Yeah, I mean, I came home, I laid in bed, I watched some TV, fell asleep, and then I woke up around 5.
And so if you were to say contraction pain, like 1 to 10, the first initial contraction may be a 2.
Yeah, tolerable.
And then Tuesday afternoon, you're back at 7, 8. It was pretty bad. And you were, you're up here trying to sleep, and the contractions were far enough apart where you weren't going to go back in. Mm-hmm. We missed our appointment with the doctor, but you're in pain, and I can tell.
They rescheduled it for the Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Right?
Yeah. Right. They automatically rescheduled it, but we figured at that point we weren't going to make that appointment because we were going to have a baby soon. Mm-hmm. So anyway, Tuesday goes by very slow, and you're in pain, and it's just, we're kind of just waiting, playing this waiting game. And eventually the pain I think it started increasing enough to the point where, all right, and the contractions were getting closer together. I think when they were about 6 minutes apart, we decided to go back. So she's in pretty bad pain. They're assessing her again at the hospital. This is our 3rd time back.
Becky's there.
Becky's there again.
But she's nice this time.
She's really sweet this time. She's actually looking at you and kind of like, oh my God, this woman's in pain. And they're trying, again, you're not really dilated. And I think that was the problem.
Not even a 2 yet.
Right? Yeah, you weren't really dilated. And you have to get, just so you know, but you get to 10. Well, I think technically labor, you have to be 3 or 4 inches, and then centimeters.
Centimeters. Whoa.
That would be bad. And then delivery comes at 10 centimeters.
Yeah.
So we had a while to go for sure. But there are ways, like, and they can give you Pitocin and other drugs to make things move along. But they didn't want to, they said they specifically said if they gave you Pitocin, it was going to increase the risk of C-section.
Mm-hmm. At that point, I really didn't care.
You didn't care. So, one of the ways, and like you did on Monday when you went shopping, one of the ways that they, I guess can sort of encourage the process is by making you walk.
Yeah. And
so we had walked a lot around the hospital the night before by ourselves. And now it's Tuesday night.
Yeah, it's like 1 a.m.
It's like, and we're walking around the hospital. And now is much different than the night before.
Mm-hmm. I had to stop every 5 minutes, literally.
She's doubled over. Doctors are walking by her going, "Oh my God, I got to get you a wheelchair." This is how bad the pain is.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there like, no, this has been happening for like the last 2 hours. So it's, don't look, I know more than the doctor, but in this case, yes, I did.
Yeah.
They were going to admit you, but they weren't maternity doctors. They were doctors, you know.
I told them, this is my prescription. I have to walk.
Yeah. And so we just kept walking around, running into people who were trying to help us out and send us back to maternity. Eventually we did find our own way back, and they gave you some more drugs to sleep that night. Again,
what happened was they wanted to send me home, and I cried my eyes out, and I said, please don't send me home, blah, 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 blah. I mean, if anything could have gone wrong, like, what if the baby...
Right.
It's heartbeat.
I know. Yeah. So we wanted to be there.
Home, you know, and we don't
wanted
know
to
this.
be there. And so they gave you something to make the contractions subside, and they promised it wouldn't affect the baby.
Yeah.
Because we were very. I don't think you would have taken it had.
It was basically either I take it and stay overnight at the doctor's,
or you go home.
Yeah, at the hospital I go home, and I didn't want to go home, so I took it.
And which is kind of like a really kind of nasty way to remember. And they were going to send us home. This is what they said. Seriously, they said, we're going to give you, what's Ambien?
No.
And Percocet.
Oh, yeah, Ambien and Percocet. I said no.
Yeah. They said, we're going to send you home with Ambien and Percocet and come back in the morning. And we're like, no.
I don't even take that medication when they prescribe it to me for kidney stones.
It almost seemed inappropriate.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Look, I'm not a doctor, but that's what they said, huh?
Did you talk to your sister about that?
I did, and she kind of rolled her eyes like, really? What? Really?
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't do that.
But it just didn't sound right. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's just with Percocet and kind of like that opioid crisis that we're in.
No, and I've been prescribed Percocet before for kidney stones. I don't even take it.
It just felt like, you know, you haven't had any kind of drug. Like, why are you going to have those kinds of drugs? So they gave you something else in the hospital.
Yeah.
They wheeled in a nice, comfy recliner, which was not comfy for me. And
Better
you slept.
than a chair, though.
But you slept. You slept, I want to say, from midnight till about 6.
I woke up a few times with the contractions, but not as bad as Monday night.
Yep. And I was up reading the Peter, I can't remember his last name, how to pronounce it, because I said Segal last time during it. It's Segal.
Yeah.
So I read his book. While I was trying to sleep, and I would fall asleep and wake up and my neck would hurt. No one really cares about me. This isn't a story about me. But I woke up, I want to say I woke up like 4 or 5. So I'm on like 3 or 4 hours sleep, that day. You got a little bit more in. But, you know, when you woke up, they put you back on the monitor. Well, you were on the monitor, but your contractions never came back together. They were they were back to 16 minutes apart.
Yeah. Okay.
And now, and what do you know? And they checked her. She's still not dilated. And so what are they doing?
They sent us home.
And screaming.
Scott,
you were like,
yeah.
I flipped out.
Yeah, Scott flipped out on the midwife who was doing everything she could possibly do to keep us.
She deserved to be flipped out on, I think.
Yeah.
Someone needed to be. Yeah. And you know what? If that's, you know what it is? They give you the nice lady to give you the bad news.
Yeah.
It's like, so that you don't really feel like being mean to them. Yeah. But at this point, I mean, like I said, I've seen this woman in pain before. And she was in pain. It was bad. And, you know, where else? I remember I said to her, I said, look, this woman's pain level is 10 out of 10. I've seen her in pain before. And she's like, well, everyone's in pain. It's labor. And I'm like, yeah, but she ran a marathon without training. I know what pain is. And this is bad pain. And where do you go if you're in pain? You go to the hospital. You're supposed to take care of us, and you're sending us home. It just didn't feel right. So, but they sent us home.
They sent us home. And, well, a little side note here was that my mom was coming in.
Right.
And she was ready to flip out in the hospital.
Oh, yeah. Your house of fire, your mother.
Yeah, she is.
Flies in from takes the bus. Thank God.
Yeah,
she
from
flew
New
in
York.
there. We give her extra couple hours to get angry. We're taking you to a new hospital.
Yeah.
We're going to drive to New York. They'll deliver you right away.
I should have drove to New York. I should have drove to your sister's hospital.
And it never really escalated to the point where we were, I think, at risk of actually going to another hospital. But
there was
there was a certain point where I was like, look, we're not going through 9 months of this stuff and then changing plan the last minute.
But it's not only that, you know, our Bay State is the only hospital around here that has a NICU.
Right.
And I wasn't going to risk being separated from my child.
Yeah, there are a bunch of other hospitals that will deliver babies around here. They don't have NICUs, but the problem is that if your baby has an issue, you have to then, the NICU's not right there. You have to jump in an ambulance and get sent there. And we just think that would be probably the most traumatic experience for a mother. Like how hard, I mean, that's just, it's like, it's hard enough that that you have to go to the NICU, but, to have to endure the ambulance ride over there while your baby's in trouble.
And sometimes they don't take you right away. They take the baby and they leave you there.
Yeah. So we didn't want to have to potentially deal with any of that. either. That was just a side note, I guess, of the story. Plus, our doctors worked through Bay State, and we really, literally would have had to get new doctors to, which after 9 months, you just don't do that. But she was a house of fire, your mom.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Anyway,
we had to settle her down. She speaks Spanish too. It's like you don't want to get in the way of that. But at a certain point, we had to like.
Didn't I speak Spanish at a certain point in the process?
So. I think so.
I remember you
said a lot of things we're not going to discuss. We're still married though. We're still here. And you're on the podcast, so we must be okay. So now where are we? So Wednesday we get home at 1:00 after picking up your mom.
Yeah.
And we realized, you know what? Hey, they rescheduled our ultrasound, the one that we never thought that we would have to go to. So now we're going to go to it because we're going to see your doctor.
Yeah, so
face to face, which by the way, that was another thing I didn't really like was that the doctor that was on call, they never came down to say hello. We were in the bullpen.
Oh, yeah.
They never came. That was kind of a little,
It was the nurses talking to your provider.
Yeah. Which, maybe they're not in the building or maybe they're busy delivering another baby, but we were there for an awful long time for them not to just come and say hello.
Meanwhile, all the other patients that came in there, the ones that were more severe,
they went right up.
The doctor, there was another doctor there who would come down and called Code White.
That was
C-section. But our doctor never came down. Never.
Yeah. Well, it was a little frustrating. I think it was just frustrating for all of us. But so Wednesday we're home and you're still in level 10 pain. Your contractions are, I don't know, probably 10 minutes apart. And now we have the ultrasound. So we go to the ultrasound. So they're doing the ultrasound mid-contraction.
Before even we get into the ultrasound, my contractions were 5 minutes apart when we were in the hospital. I mean,
we're in the waiting
room. And people
with other
were just looking at me.
Like, oh my God. This person's writhing in pain, having contractions. She's going to have the baby right in the waiting room. But we got in and we got to the ultrasound. And then again, she's doing the ultrasound. Then she'd have to stop because you're contracting.
Yeah.
And then you got in to see the doctor.
Oh, I love her. She's my favorite doctor. The youngest one I've seen and the best one.
Yeah. And really, she took one look at you and kind of was like, yeah, you need to be admitted. Mm-hmm. So finally.
She admitted me. She called ahead.
They call it direct admit. So we had a direct admit to the,
to the upstairs, not the...
To the upstairs, not the bullpen.
Yeah.
But we had to go check in through the same lady who now we've seen 3 or 4 times and asking the same question 3 or 4 times. We'll probably get 3 or 4 bills every time you were admitted to the emergency, to the hospital. And, she's asking you questions. And now she's calling upstairs because your pain is so bad.
Yeah.
It's funny because you were in contractions when we first checked in and she wasn't, but you were under control. Yeah. Now you're in bad pain.
That's when I started speaking Spanish.
And she's calling upstairs, having them send people down. But meanwhile, they didn't even come.
They didn't even come. So my mom...
your mom went upstairs.
My mom got a wheelchair. I don't even know where she pulled that wheelchair out from.
They have them laying around. Yeah. They had them laying around. And
she's like, that's it. I'm taking you upstairs.
She did. Meanwhile, the lady's trying to ask you questions. And it's the same questions over and over again that I've been hearing.
Yeah.
So she's like, when's the baby due? And I'm like, November 18th. And she's like, she's like, nah, I'm not going to ask you that. I'm like, February 11th. She's like, what do you mean? I go, that's the date of her last period. That's TMI. That's TMI. I'm sorry. But it's just that I've heard the question asked a dozen times. And she's like, oh, I'm glad you know. She wrote that. Anyway, so we went up. And the atmosphere changes drastically up there. Mm-hmm. It is, no more, it's like, I don't know. It's like going from the ghetto to Park Avenue.
Yeah.
It's, can I get you some water? Can I get you some juice? Can I get you, let's check this, check that. Now, one of the things that got me, first of all, in your birth plan, which no one read.
My birth plan went out
which you wrote out about 5 pages.
Can I just say, it wasn't 5 pages, it's 1.5.
Okay, it's not bad. With
pictures.
It was
1.5 pages with pictures. And I had this whole thing, I researched everything, I went to the birth class, asked questions, and I felt really happy with my birth plan. It wasn't 5 pages. It was nice. But it went out the window. And I tell you why. Because I didn't want any residents working on me. Just from a different story with my best friend, I just didn't want anything bad to happen with me. And the anesthesiologist came in. right? The
epidural lady.
Epidural lady.
I call her epidural lady.
Yeah, and she was like, "Hi, my name is blah blah blah. I'm a resident," and I did not care.
It's funny how all those months of planning.
I did not care. I just needed
go out the
my
window.
pain to go away. So I said, "Yeah, go ahead. Put a needle on my back."
Well, the funny part then was she's like, "Oh, get 2 chairs." So I did. She's like, "Put one in front of you and one to the side of that chair." The nurse sat in front of you, kind of talking you through the process, and I sat in the chair next. And I'm like, "Why are they directing me?" You know, so they put the epidural in, and I'm like, "Well, why'd you put me over there?" And she's like, "Well, husbands sometimes pass out, so we put you in the front so you can't see what's happening."
Yeah.
So I didn't pass out. I was good.
Yeah, well, you were in front of me. You weren't behind me.
I was good. No, I was good the whole time.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm patting myself
you
on
say
the back.
so. Okay.
By the way,
Well,
by the way, I didn't get my bike ride in Wednesday, so thanks. Thanks for ruining my training.
Yeah.
So Wednesday night. So now we're there Wednesday night. She's got the epidural in, and you slept like a baby.
I love that epidural.
Yeah. And so now we're in the room, and it's me and your mother and your aunt,
Yeah.
and there's like a little fold-out kind of weird chair. I tried to sleep. I think I nodded off here and there for a half hour. Your mom says I slept a lot, but I didn't sleep a lot. You were out.
I was that cold.
Yeah, they came in every once in a while to check you and make sure you're still breathing. You're good.
Morning comes along.
Thursday morning.
Yay.
That's
7
when
a.m., right?
they kick your mom out early. Oh, by the way, Thanksgiving baby is all fine and good, but what happens is all the little cafes and all the cafeteria in the hospital that's normally open till 2 or 3 in the morning when I needed to go because I was sitting there waiting while you were sleeping. They all close early. So you picked a bad day.
Well, she picked a bad day, not me.
All right, I'll blame her. So we're early in the morning.
Yeah.
And the contractions are coming pretty hard, but you're not feeling it as much.
I'm not feeling the contractions, but you can tell. I could tell by a little bit of pressure. I'm like, oh, having a contraction, but back to like a 2 or a 1. Not even.
And now a resident's coming in and checking you, and at a certain point, your dilation was extending, and now we're.
Yeah, they gave me Pitocin.
I think the night before you were like 5 or 6 inches. They did give you some Pitocin that night.
Yeah, and she broke my water.
Yeah. And then at one point they said that you were like 9.5 inches.
Well,
9.5. I keep saying inches.
She came in at like 5, and then she left. And then when she came back in, I said, "Please be a 9. Please be a 9." And she said, "Yeah, you're a 9." And then she asked me why I didn't say, "Please be a 10."
Right? You didn't want to jinx it.
Yeah, I said I didn't want to be unrealistic.
So it's probably like 9 o'clock when we're finally at go time, and we don't need to like really get into this. I guess.
No. Please don't. I don't want to be embarrassed.
There were some raised voices. There were some.
Please don't torture me. Why are you torturing me, doctors?
There was almost a broken collarbone. Yeah. Mine. Mine.
At least I didn't punch you.
That's true. I was spared. There was some screaming. You may have heard it.
Yeah.
But at 9:49,
Ellie was born.
Healthy baby girl.
Yeah, I was very happy.
And they put her right on your chest. I cut the cord, which I wasn't able to do with Sammy because Sammy's cord was wrapped around her neck, and they had to cut it.
How did that feel? I didn't feel anything, so.
How did what feel for me?
Yeah.
For what? Sammy's
cutting the cord.
Okay. Yeah, it's like cutting like a rubbery hose.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like I guess
that's the baby's organ.
It's really strange because it's obviously bodily fluids and things, and I think certain people I give it to doctors because certain people when you see stuff like that, it's like it's hard to deal with it, I guess. But I was fine with it. It seems like just a natural thing. I'm glad the doctors are there because I'm certainly not prepared to do the work that they do. Mm-hmm. The resident was there and she was kind of doing a lot of the work, but the doctor was with her.
Yeah.
And it was good though. They were good. They were a good team.
Yeah.
And they put Ellie right up on your chest when she was born, and she ruined my shirt. But I didn't care. It was, when your baby.
Aren't you happy you weren't wearing the Star Wars shirt?
That's right. I was wearing. I didn't want her to think I was a nerd.
Yeah. Make sure I remember.
Right off the bat. Oh, look at that guy look at that nerd with the Star Wars shirt in the delivery room.
Cute.
She was super cute. 8 pounds, 5 ounces, crying right off the bat. The NICU was actually in there for the birth.
They had to come up.
Something happened. They were afraid that there was something potentially in her throat when she came out. And as soon as she came out, she started crying. So they knew her throat was clear. The NICU left. They were there for the baby was born. They were gone.
Yeah.
So it was completely, just precautionary, which was good. And, there's no feeling, right? I mean, there's no other feeling when your baby's born.
I can't even describe it.
After 9 months of morning sickness and
acid reflux.
Yeah, well, she came out with a head full of hair, and that's the rumor is that if she, a baby with a lot of hair could cause acid reflux.
Yeah, very bad.
She's super cute.
Yeah.
And maybe the acid reflux was worth the cuteness.
So worth. I'll do it all over again with all that acid. No. If I went back in time, I'm not saying I'm going to do it again.
But yeah, it's something very powerful, I think, about that moment when they put your baby on your chest. And how did you feel?
I don't even have words.
And it's weird because I think,
I don't even have words for it.
Sometimes people do try to explain it to you. And when you haven't had a child, you've heard it. You've heard the story. And, you maybe think you understand, but you don't.
No. Mm-hmm.
And the reason you don't understand, the reason I can say that is because I've done it twice. And I tell you, the second time was just as, powerful as the first. And there's just, something about, here's just a brand new life form taking in their first breath of air right in front of your face. Yeah. Something that you've put the work in and geez, you had a trainer, you took care of yourself. You were very healthy and, it's almost like you make an investment in the health of your child for 9 months of your life, which is a long time, and it pays off. And that's the moment where it pays off. And of course, now the moments are 2:30 in the morning when she's screaming.
Yeah.
Cause she's hungry. But,
and she's, short-tempered, our daughter.
Oh God, please don't start.
Very short-tempered. I don't know where she gets that from.
I know.
Not me.
No, the witchcraft lady who's watching our child downstairs. The one who wanted us to change hospitals twice.
My mother.
Yeah. But,
she looks just like Scott, though, I have to say.
Yeah. We got a lot of plans for this kid, too.
Yeah.
She's going to be doing her first 5K.
Yep.
In April.
Yeah. Ordinary Marathon 5K.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of course, she'll probably be in a stroller.
It's okay.
Maybe we'll hold her. We'll see. Sammy's got to do that one with us, too. But, so yeah, I mean, that's really the story. And,
Can I just say, I was so loopy after delivery.
Yeah. Well, I mean, geez, it's like, I can't even imagine. I mean, taking probably 15 pounds that just flush out of your body. Mm-hmm. And you're in such an emotional state. And not only that, but the physical nature of all your internal organs trying to start moving back to normal after, after all that happening.
It's a weird feeling, though. I can't, if I explain it.
Like a euphoric kind of.
No. The euphoric stuff happened with the baby. When she took the baby to check her out, it was like,
You're kind of still sitting there and loopy and just.
I just couldn't. My brain couldn't process what people were saying.
Oh, right. I remember you saying that. Yeah.
It would be me trying very, very hard to figure out what you guys are saying. And then when I try to piece things together.
Yeah.
That part of it will kind of, I don't know if it was the right thing. Maybe I was just reading social cues or whatever. And then things would feel like they were on fast forward. To kind of catch up to the time. I don't know what that was about. That was
sometimes
kind of being
maybe that's
being high.
Well, I was wondering if it was what's that that hormone, the adrenaline.
I don't know
maybe
what it
it's
was.
The adrenaline of the situation.
And I kept telling the nurse,
it's a very
I feel loopy.
That's a very
normal. Yeah. And then finally I fell asleep.
I bet that's hormonal. I don't know. I'm no doctor.
I don't know. That was really weird. I felt a free high, I guess.
There you go. Well, you earned it after 9 months.
Well, at that moment, it's kind of scary because you're like, what the hell's happening?
Well, yeah. And, it's funny. I don't even want... No, I'm not even going to go here. Let's just...
What?
Well, no, I was saying how, I think of like doctors in this situation. I think of them as they deliver babies, and what a wonderful job. What an amazing job to study and do all that stuff. And then here it is delivering new life. And then when you're actually in the situation, I mean, really, you were pushing for a number of minutes. There was one time the nurse was there and the doctor was out of the room, and she's like, all right, I want you to just push just the halfway or hold back.
No, hold your push.
And it's like, and I kind of felt the reason that she was saying that was because she didn't want the baby to be born when the doctor wasn't there.
I yelled at her.
And you did yell at her. Why are you torturing me?
Yeah. No, I'm pushing. And then when the doctors come in, then they tell me, stop pushing, half a push.
What is that?
You don't.
Well, it's different nowadays. They used to give you like episiotomy, and now they don't. They, there's tearing.
And I just have to say that I felt everything past the baby on my pelvis, right? Every single contraction when the baby was on my pelvis.
Right. The epidural didn't help with delivery.
Yeah,
but
they
some
told
people
me,
they say it does. But some people,
they told me I was so that I would know when to push. They said so. I think that they do it differently here in Massachusetts.
Maybe
we should have drove to New
probably
York.
cheaper. Thanks, insurance. I blame insurance companies.
Yeah,
for everything,
we had 63 hours to go down to New York and get proper epidurals, I guess.
Yeah, you probably still wouldn't feel your legs.
Yeah.
So. No, but what I was going to say was the doctors, they, you think it's such a beautiful job. And then really, I felt like most of the work was done post-birth. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to get into details with that, but that's the job that I wouldn't want.
Yeah.
It's
and that's the job that saves moms' lives, right?
I like the idea of the baby, bringing the baby into the world. Yay, it sounds all like a great job. And then, but yeah, the aftermath is like...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just we just focus on the baby and,
And push that epidural button a little more. A little more time.
Yeah, we did. As soon as it was 15 minutes, push that button. But, all right, so, moving on in the story. So she's 2 weeks old today.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we got to take a
Happy
picture.
2 weeks. I know. 2 weeks old. She's doing great. And, she does cry, but she's on schedule. Mm-hmm. She's, she sleeps 3 hours at night, and then she feeds, and then she goes back and sleeps another 3 hours, which is pretty much all you can ask for at this point. She's been pretty good, and, we hope that kind of continues. But for you, so we're waiting till after December, and I think that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, January 7th is my doctor's appointment. Okay. I mean, I kind of feel great right now. But again, I think I should wait.
So we'll leave it up to you. And if you want to see the doctor before we start the video series, I think that makes sense. But you do have a 5K that you're going to need to run in April.
Yeah, and
you do have
a 5K.
And then you have Marine Corps Marathon in October.
Yeah.
We can't have you miss that.
No.
Although they do allow transfers. So, if you're out of shape, you can just hand it over.
No. I got to do it.
And,
I'm not going to have you there, though, with me.
Well, maybe we'll figure something out. So we're planning right now is that I'm going to have the baby and Samantha, and we're going to kind of be cheering mommy on. And, but if there's any babysitters in the DC area who want to reach out, let me run.
She's super cute. She's not short-tempered at all. I was just lying.
That would be helpful. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to, I feel like, we worked together on the trailer. The trailer is out on YouTube if you guys want to see. It's called, what was the series called? Mommy's Miles and Baby Smiles?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah.
And,
so bad that we don't know this.
Yeah, we should know it. But the trailer is out, and that was fun. It was fun working on the trailer, and,
And I gotta say, I'm not like a social person, a camera person, so it takes a lot for me to get out there.
Right. That's why there's a lot of editing. So it's all in the editing. I'll make you look good. Don't worry about it.
Thanks.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
And also, I'm not going to be like those YouTube vloggers that have makeup on and talk about, I've done a little bit of research about these mommy vlogs where they say, oh, this is my workout schedule, whatever. And they spend literally 40 minutes talking about what they wear. And that's not me whatsoever. I don't care.
You can cut 40 minutes off the top of our show. Our show is probably, my guess is 5 to 10 minutes per episode.
Yeah. It's just basically this is what I did this week.
Right.
This is what I'm doing next week, and that's it.
And I think, a lot of it, what we want to do here is, number one, we want to show your progress and how it works and make sure that it works.
Yeah.
Because, we had a professional put it together for us. We're assuming it works. We're going to put it into action.
Yeah.
Hopefully it works, and hopefully then it provides sort of a video template for other people who either maybe they're going through pregnancy like you are and they want to work their way slowly back into shape, or maybe they're coming just off the couch. It is a couch 5K.
Yeah.
And then here's the video series. And you know what? I tell you what, if I was 280 pounds like I was back in 2013, I wouldn't hesitate to watch a pregnant, a woman, postpartum woman getting back into shape. That would motivate me. I mean, it's like, someone dealing with even more than I'm dealing with. So I think it could be a productive thing for not just you and me and the podcast, but other people. And you know what? After talking to Eileen after she won the, we're going to bring this full circle, talking to Eileen after she won the Garmin and how appreciative she is of the podcast and how she's sort of, has used it sometimes as motivation for her own, training and really her accomplishments, which I think include sort of weight loss and running half marathons, which I think is amazing.
Yeah.
And that we could play a role in that is just, it's humbling. And I think that this is something, and you know what, this is what I like about us. Let me tell you what I like about us.
What's that? Tell me.
Well, we push the YouTube channel a little bit, but, we're not out there looking to make a career off of YouTube. I'm not trying to suck up 100,000 subscribers. I watch some of these YouTube channels. And they beg for likes or beg for subscribers, or somehow they're focused so much on SEO and that search engine optimization. That's what SEO stands for. That, it's like their entire life is revolving around how many subscribers they have. And I don't think we're like that really. And we haven't been like that. And we're just producing content, for the joy of doing it. We've met some really wonderful people in the process.
Yeah. I love everyone we've met. So
Well,
far.
you know what's funny is I love our group, and Katie Mayo keeps telling me that it's the best group out there, and that she loves it.
Thank you.
I know. But I think one of the reasons it's like that is because it's grown organically, and it hasn't been pushed on people. It's been, it's if you want to join, you join. And if you like what, people, I think that we do have people that lurk, obviously. We've heard from some of them lately, that lurk and they read and they watch and they use it as motivation, even though they don't get involved. And, we encourage you to get involved. We don't want to be an intimidating, force. We don't want you to think, oh, I can't post there because I haven't posted or I don't know the people. We like to see that. We like to see new people.
We like to see, their journey. I love to hear those stories where they're like, I was at a weight that I didn't like myself in and I switched my life around and got healthy, or even just I wanted to be stronger, or I wanted to do an Ironman, or it's every level. I mean, from ultra marathon to people just starting. Yeah.
And the best part about our group is that it's not, we may have, obviously Bergstrom, Melinda Howard was there for a while. We have ultra marathoners and Ironman people in the group, but they're not the kind of people that just want to talk about only ultra marathoning and Ironman and triathlon and all that stuff. They more than welcome people who are just at any level. And, if you're out there running a mile, 2 miles and you're building and you're working hard, you're going to get just as much, sort of attention, I guess, as anyone else in the group. I feel. And, encouragement. Let's call it encouragement. And that's why I like it. I like what we've done and I'm proud of it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And let's get you back into shape and running some 5Ks.
Yeah.
All right?
No, I am. This is the plan.
Okay, let's wrap it up here. Thanks for coming on.
You're welcome.
You got to go shopping now with your mom.
Oh, jeez.
I got to watch the baby.
Yeah. Daddy. Hang out with Daddy.
Yeah, we're going to work on an ordinary marathon for the day, as long as she's not crying. So, I got to tell you, I have a board full of potential guests that I'm supposed to be bringing in. And I have like 2 more that I have to write on here. And I'm like, all right, I got to get these guys in by end of the year. If I did that, I'd have to do like almost a podcast a day. So, I'm just behind.
Well,
we've been busy.
Yeah.
So, we'll see, we'll see how, I don't even know who I'm going to bring in next because it's all over the place. So, but we'll be back within, I don't know, maybe I'll try to kick out 2 a week. We'll see how it goes. And, until then, always remember, when it comes to running, I'm no expert. I'm just ordinary.